we're coming up to the end of April now, and it's perfect time for bluebells. I've kind of been a bit itchy over the last few weeks because I've not been able to get out and do photography, but I've been keeping an eye on the bluebells I've been passing on my way into work and just waiting for them to come up. They seem to be just a little bit later than normal, but actually this morning I've managed to make it out here to what's quite a popular location in Oxfordshire for photographing bluebells, and as you can see, it's absolutely stunning. One of the things I'm really pleased to see in this location is that they're very good about marking out the paths and putting down trunks to stop people from actually walking in the bluebells. It's so important when you're photographing bluebells that you don't trample them. But anyway, this morning I'm hoping to get some shots. I couldn't make it out here last year to photograph these bluebells because of the lockdown. So this year I'm really pleased to finally make it down to this location, and it's certainly not disappointing. So I'm actually at this spot here. They've very kindly put this little platform down. I think it's for people to take selfies with the bluebells, but it's actually quite a nice composition. I guess that's why it's here. But it's also directly aligned with where the sun's rising. There is a little cloud on the horizon at the moment, so it's kind of obscuring the sun a bit. But actually, I'm just waiting for it to come up, and hopefully we'll get a nice bit of light splashing over these bluebells here. I've gone for a fairly wide angle shot here, and normally actually what I like to do with woodland photography is try and cut the sky out quite a bit, but obviously here the main kind of feature is the sun in this image, illuminating those bluebells. So actually I don't mind having a little bit of sky in this image and having these beech tree trunks silhouetted against that brighter sky. I'm just going to sit and wait for a little while because there's actually not much light hitting the bluebells themselves yet. And actually what I'd really like to try and get this morning is some nice side light on these trees. Now this isn't the best position to do that. I'm probably going to have to move around slightly so that I've got those trees nicely side lit, and hopefully that will happen just a little bit later on. But for now I'm hoping just to get this first shot where the sun is coming up and it's directly in shot. I've got quite a narrow aperture. I've gone to f16 just to try and maybe get a bit of a sun star going on as well. So as the sun climbed just that little bit higher, it managed to clear those clouds on the horizon. And it's created these really nice long shadows of the trees, which are creating this nice lead-in line for the image as well. It's absolutely stunning. I decreased the aperture down to f18, which has just helped to create a nice sun star. So I've got some really nice images actually from this spot. I think I'm probably going to take a little bit of a wander around and see if I can get some other shots. I'd like to get a few images which are just looking at the trunks of the trees, maybe with a little bit of side light on them. So we're going to have a look and see what we can get. So I've just moved slightly further along from where I was earlier. I did try facing in the other direction and taking some shots. Basically I was trying to get some trees which were being hit nicely by the light. The trouble was, because the sun was behind me in those images, it was very difficult to get an image which didn't have my shadow running through it. So I've actually come back over here and photographing back towards where the sun's rising. I really like these lines that the shadows of the trees are creating these lovely leading lines for the images. I'm sort of swapping between landscape and portrait orientation. I'd like to get a good mix of both. I'd also like something just a little bit different, so maybe I'm going to take a little bit of a wander around and see if I can find a spot where I can get some bluebells nice up and close in my foreground. I think probably these bluebells need another couple of days before they're really at their best. There's still a few sort of patches which aren't very thick with them. But yeah, it's just a gorgeous morning to be out. The weather's great. A little bit of mist obviously would be quite nice, but you have to work with what you've got. But anyway, yeah, I'm really enjoying myself this morning. Hopefully getting some nice images as well. So this is actually just the kind of shot which I was after. I found this one little clump of bluebells down here which is in the foreground of my image. It's a wide angle image, so that's kind of the main interest of the image. At the same time I've also got the sun up in the top right hand corner, which is creating a little bit of a sun star. But that sun is obviously illuminating that clump of bluebells down in my foreground. There is a log in the background which is actually part of a path. It's one of these logs which marks where the path is. Initially I thought I wouldn't like that in the image, but actually I don't think it looks too bad. It just looks like quite a natural log in the image, so that's not bothering me too much. I'm not sure I've got an awful lot of time left. I think because we don't have any mist or haze in the atmosphere this morning, I think now the sun's starting to get a little bit higher, I think the light's just going to be a little bit too harsh. So I'm probably only going to take one or two more images and then I'll call it a day this morning. I'm really glad that I've managed to make it down here this year to come and photograph these bluebells. Last year it was on my to-do list, but obviously the whole pandemic just put pay to that, so I was really upset that I couldn't get down here last year to do this, but this year absolutely fine. I managed to come down, see the bluebells. I think probably they're not quite at their peak, maybe another couple of days and they'll be a little bit better, but I don't know if I'm going to get another chance to come down here, so I'm just pleased to be out. I think the weather, I was a little bit worried when I was coming out. I wasn't too sure whether I'd get any nice images today. This area of these woods really does suit itself best to having misty conditions, as do most woods of course. But here, because you've got quite open horizons sort of outside of the woods, you can't sort of eliminate the sky from your images, so normally a little bit of mist really helps in this location, but I think with just the colours of the flowers as we're out, I think it works okay without the mist, so I think I'm pleased with a couple of the images. Do let me know below what you think, but yeah, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.